This episode, like every episode of Yeah, Beer and That, is brought to you for free by us here at Craft Beer Banter and the Dock Brewing Company. If you enjoy the content that we put out and you'd like to support us, you can follow us on Instagram, share our YouTube videos, subscribe to us on Spotify, or leave us a review on Apple Podcasts / iTunes. All of that stuff really helps us out. We'll throw links to all of our socials in the description, including a link to our new Patreon page for those of you interested in becoming patrons. We'll provide additional information on all of this later on. For now, please just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Craft Beer Banter presents a Kingswood Studios production. Created and recorded at Dock Brewing HQ. You're listening to Yeah, Beer and That.
Now remember to speak in the top.
Not the top, it's the
Or
side.
just like across it.
It's the side. Every time it's the side.
Which side?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't have a side.
The any key.
It's all side.
Listen, it's braces. How are you, boys?
Well,
Good.
sick.
Yeah.
Are we being honest, or
Yeah, you were being honest.
I'll be honest.
I'm labouring through this one? No, I'm alright. I'm good.
It's good to see all you again. We've so today. Oh, this is Yeah, Beer and That. 303. 303.
Yes, 303.
What is a fucking Gose? Or we'll talk about fruited beers, Goses, all of that, and the rest of the stuff we normally do. Now we've had trouble catching up recently, but you got to give credit to these two here. So the other night, what we did was we were stuck in February for the CBBRs. Like, we hadn't even journeyed into March territory yet. I did a count up of all the CBBRs we did. So if you guys were sick the next day, we've got like into the end of May, start of June with that. So we did 3 months worth of
Nice.
In one night.
in one night.
It
Yeah.
felt like it too.
I was good.
Yeah, there was only one unusable one. There was only one unusable one,
I remember.
and it was all Luke's fault.
It was all Luke's fault.
Look, pay attention.
Yeah. I want it. It's all my fault.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know what was all your fault?
Yep. The podcast, I got too drunk.
You got too drunk.
Yep. That's
Okay.
what it was. That was the worst 2 days of hangover I've
I
had.
was sick for so long, man. And and that's
horrible.
why, because we did. Yeah, there was like 12 or 13 that actually got recorded and kept that night. I got to say quickly, like, because I always say quickly, but it's not going to be. I'm going to look at you for
You
this.
take time.
I was driving in my car the other day and I was listening to something, and so I heard that Caitlyn Jenner was running for office, and like, that's fair enough if she wants to run for office, right? But she's a reality star, yeah.
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 Not really,
And a businesswoman
not really a politician though.
was Donald Trump.
That's my point. I feel like America still owes us and the world an apology for him, and I don't know if they should be. I don't know if we've got enough time for another reality star.
Money.
Politics has
Money
always been
talks.
popularity, though, hasn't it? When people are voting.
Not in
It's
the
not-
rest of the, like, we
I think it will be. I think The Rock will be the president one day.
that can't
Honestly,
be a
The
thing
Rock.
though. Like,
No,
I
I
think-
know it shouldn't be, but I reckon he will be.
Is that not like
You want him to
but
be.
does it
A
not-
little bit.
Yeah.
Like Arnold
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger's doing a pretty good job, isn't he? I don't know. I don't really follow that.
He
but
hasn't
he-
been.
Governor.
He hasn't been in office for fucking years.
Yeah, no, but he
Yeah.
was doing a good job, wasn't he?
No,
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't
Does it
fo-
matter?
No.
I don't follow the politics.
But the
over
thing
there.
is, like,
The other thing is I don't really care.
I know you don't, but I feel like
Where's the beers?
it's just so like.
So you guys came here wanting to listen about beers,
We're
right?
on the wrong
Was
podcast.
it not like the most weird like? I keep thinking
didn't
about
even know
that,
about
like
it till you said
Donald
about
Trump
it.
was the fucking president of the United States of America.
He will be
that
again.
doesn't blow anyone else's mind. Like I was sitting there going, "What the fuck happened? What the fuck happened? You owe us an apology."
Yeah, but he
America.
also wasn't the first movie star to be president. There's
I
been
know
two
that's
before
what,
him.
but look at what happened previously with that. Anyway,
One's dead.
So that's that. No one else is. Everyone else is okay with this. Am I feeling like
Even if we weren't, what are we going to do?
I don't
What
know?
are you going to do?
Whinge about it on a beer podcast?
Good.
Left-wing uprising in Adelaide over American politics and what their standards should be.
Watch the dominoes fall now.
So no one else was like weird, like
Of course
really weird
that's-
out by this.
Fucking ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely it
Then-
is.
Okay,
Uh,
good.
I'm not obsessed with it. I want to
Okay,
get some beers in me.
as long as I'm not alone in that. Like me think, like I was literally driving, going, "This is whack." Like what the fuck? Anyway,
Yeah. If you look down at your phone, it does say, yeah, beer and that.
Berry Gose. Luke, you gonna pour them? Actually, Simmy, we'll get them out of the thing.
Do I have to?
The fridge.
Oh my god, otherwise it's going to be 4 more minutes of politics. Please do.
Please pour the beers. Yes.
Oh, you're doing the facts, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
does everyone here know what a Gose is? Why we've picked Gose? What the Gose is?
Even if we didn't, you should probably say.
Yeah.
A Gose is a sour.
Welcome to the Gose episode. I'm sure you already know what a Gose is. We're going to talk about politics some more.
It's a soured, salty beer. Basically, we've thrown fruit in
Mine's
it.
already a bit salty and
That's the
sour.
homebrew,
Oh,
bro.
absolutely.
That's the homebrew, man.
Is that what you want?
No,
Although
That's right, I'll drink. My mistake.
I thought we were starting with the homebrew. We're starting
No.
with the commercial.
no, not this
Not
year.
this season.
See, it's been too long between episodes.
It has.
It's only number 3.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but it's also May.
It's just gone the 24th of March, and this should be out any day now.
It's my sipping beer. The Adelaide Fringe Draft is what I'm drinking as my sipping beer. We got it really cheap because the Fringe is well over.
Don't you mean we're right in the thick of it right now?
So like Gose's an ancient or historical style of beer. It was made traditionally like you would sour the beer traditionally like over time, and it was made.
Spontaneous fermentation.
Yeah, there was like
Open casks and just letting the air get in there and the natural yeasts.
there's supposed to be some salt as well. There was like the water profile. It was a salty water that was used, and you got this lovely like tart plus dirty beer
Dickhead.
glasses, tart with salt with and this is actually fruited. This is a raspberry Gose, framboise rosé Gose, beer brewed with natural something.
Flavor. He couldn't read the can, but I just
I
had
can't
to
believe
help
you
out.
read that much of the label, then just gave up at the last word.
He turned it just as I was trying
It's
to
on
get
the
it.
other side too.
No, I was dead in the middle.
This is really cool.
Where's
So,
like Boonville?
I'm not sure. It's an
California, I
American.
guess.
These
got a
guys
bear on
actually
it.
do a few fruited Goses as well. Like I just picked the raspberry because my homebrew is actually going to be a raspberry-ish Gose. Mm-hmm. The color actually is it's
Looks
not,
like beer.
not really as colorful as I.
I think it's got that light pink tinge to it, but it's definitely more.
Oh, that's really tart on the nose too.
Isn't it?
Eh?
Yeah. Smells like a tart.
Oh,
I can't tell if it's me being sick, but I almost get like a little bit of vanilla on the nose as well. But again, I can't be trusted.
that's not a bad call. That's not. I don't.
I say
Now
no.
you've set it up.
Yeah, I think you.
I can get a little bit, but like that's like almost like one of those strawberry cream lollies more than like straight vanilla. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's a better description. So remind me again, how is this going to work this season when we have our unusual beers? What is the thinking? Why are we doing Gose? How actually uncommon is this of a beer style, would you say?
I do actually see it a little bit. It's just it was in the historical category of BJCP.
I've got some fun facts for you later about that, but
And you do.
It was pretty rare, almost extinct, and the craft beer industry's really revived it. There was also a dude back in the 1980s that loved this style and did a heap of research and found old recipes and talked to people to figure out what it was meant to be like, because it did kind of half go extinct.
It did. Okay,
A couple of times, but anyway, we'll get to that with my 7 long facts. They're not 10 fast facts.
Okay, nice. My information is more based on the brewing, how to brew one of these, and I'll go through more of that in segment 2 on how I brewed it and why I brewed it that way. But like I said earlier, this was traditionally just brewed the way it was and left to sour.
Did
over
you
time.
go down the traditional style, or did you go making a modern Gose?
I've tried. I was reading up about this a fair bit, and I didn't want to do a kettle sour. I wanted to, in the quickest time possible, make a Gose. And there was one beer, like BYO or something maybe, that had the ultimate cheater's guide to brewing a Gose quickly. And I've done it that way, and I'll explain what I did in segment 2. But it's not the kettle soured version, and it's not the long version, not the spontaneous version. And I guess, and I added salt instead of what's this called? Using salty water. Which,
back to this segment, which is this beer.
It's been a while, man.
Is a framboise rosé or rose Gose, is that the style? Like a...
Framboise means raspberry in French.
Oh, there you go. What does rose mean in French?
Also red.
I think pink or red, yeah. So it's like a raspberry
it's
red
pink.
raspberry
Rouge,
pink goes.
I think, is red.
There you go. Mate, look.
Hey!
Je ne sais pas.
Luke only has 6 facts to deliver for part 2 now.
Stop using them.
Now, do we do a CBBR
I'm
with
trying to go home
this in this year, or are we? Because we used to do that last year.
I'm pretty sure we've done it and not done it at the same. I think we've done one of each, maybe.
Do you have anything on this one?
Yeah, I was actually just going through their website right now, because their can, while it has quite a very cool design on the front, the actual description of the beer is pretty lacking. They just have the mandatory information on there.
Have we actually said who the brewer is?
Yeah, I don't think we have. So this is Anderson Valley, who is a Californian brewer. This is the Framboise Rosé Gose. Going by their description online, rose hips and fresh raspberry puree make our beer an unforgettable kettle soured experience with a light ruby hue, floral rose aromatics, and subtle raspberry fruit notes. Greet the nose and fall soft on the palate. So
For a Gose as well, the salt, because I've had I was trying a fair few when I was trying to nail mine down. And the salt on this is there, but it's really subtle, which I like. There's been a couple, I think Nomad brewed one, and I was like, there's salt in this. And that's what I got, was salt. Yeah.
Do you like salt?
No.
Are you a salt, like just cover everything in salt kind of guy?
No.
Yeah, I am.
Are you? So
You
this
are
is
as
not
well.
enough salt for you on this? Like you can
I mean,
get it?
it's fine for what the beer is. I think if you're thinking of the same beer I am, it was the one in the black can with the octopus on it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was supposed to be like the salt and pepper.
Yes,
Gose.
yeah. Salt and pepper. I was just too much.
That
for
was
me.
amazing. I really like that.
Okay. Yeah, I can
understand
appreciate
that's also,
it. But
That's also absurd for how much salt should be in a beer. So, yeah, balance is the key.
I didn't
So-
hate it, but like I didn't like I wasn't going back for another can.
Is there a particular salt you meant to use? Himalayan pink or table salt, Saxo
Traditionally, it's just
table
from
salt,
the water
or
source.
the water
It's,
source?
Water source, yeah.
So it'll be just
Started.
straight seawater.
No, so it was from a river. So the river just had high salinity.
Don't give your facts away
Just
again.
giving the facts away. That wasn't even really one of them. That's just part of them. I've got him. It's weird. We need to do the 10 fast facts first or something, so then we can get rid of the facts out the way, because we always just cover them. But good questions, yeah. Most of the time it is just people just dump salt in it now.
This is a great day to be doing this for me because I'm on a double hangover. And this just tastes like a soft drink. So I can start drinking. It's excellent.
Very easy to drink.
When I
as well.
thought about having a beer earlier today, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get one down. But this is great.
They've done really well with the fruit as well.
It's like an alco pop for men.
Not far off.
For women.
4.2%. Oh, come on, Chris, we've got to pick our marker here. Got to draw a line in the sand.
Republicans!
12 IBU, 4.2 ABV, 120 calories if you're counting your calories.
Some of us should be.
Me.
And me.
Got to worry about counting first, hey, Chris?
Oh, dude, so I've recently got a new job and I had to go to get a medical. And I had to stand on the scales. And it's been a while since I stood on the scales. So I've been telling everyone about 102, 103 kilos for a little while. And I was like, oh, don't worry about it, man. I'm about 100, 203. He's like, no, I have to check. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm a
whatever.
doctor.
And I stood on and I cracked 110 again. And he goes, for someone, he wasn't like Australian. So he had a thick accent, which made it funny for me. I don't know if I should say that. But
he was like, very direct about it. Probably.
He was very direct.
Yeah.
So he said, for someone so short, you are too fat. He said, you have to lose a lot of weight. I was like, okay.
If you know what accent Chris is doing there, make sure you message into
No, I deliberately
and
didn't
we'll
do
give out
his
a prize.
I deliberately didn't do his accent. So that was, yeah, thank you. I was
not a problem.
trying to be... Yeah, well, anyway, how do we get onto that?
Calories. 120 calories.
Calories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Caitlin Jenner's
So are they...
registration for presidential candidate. I think they got us here.
Oh, that hurt me, that one.
Yeah, but that's most.
So are they a fairly big brewery, do you know? Like, have we got any...
They're not one that I've heard of before. But looking at their website, they do a lot of this range using different fruit. So
Okay.
I saw at least like 6 others that were, same can design, same sort of range, I'm guessing. So that might be their sort of
Their market?
wheelhouse.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, how did you get these, by the way?
West Beach Cellars, man. And West Beach
good.
Cellars had a few different fruited gozes there of theirs. They had
Okay.
3 or 4 different. So I know they get them in by the bunch like that sometimes. So, but yeah,
They're
when I
they're
saw
not
the
stocking
raspberry,
what they should be there, I think, a little bit.
they've really come out of. They were big in my wheelhouse for all of
I
last
was,
year. And this year, I'm really.
A little bit late today because I was on the way there and I thought I'd better ring them because I needed to get beer for a segment. And lucky I did because they were like, no, we don't stock it anymore. Okay. So I had to go somewhere else.
What was it?
I'm not telling you.
Almost.
Yeah,
they're doing a lot of
Wouldn't be
like
the first time you ruined it.
really weird cans. Oh. Do we want to like with this segment?
Just any structure would be good.
Do we want to bring in some 10 fast facts for this one? And then
Oh, yeah.
segment 2, just a bit more homebrew and then go into another one?
You could do
I
2
think-
fast facts. If you only got 7, that almost fits. Maths isn't good, but it's close.
I think while we are still talking about the style, maybe it is a good time to
Yeah, I
blend in
think-
some stuff, and then like maybe in the second part we can talk about the
Second.
process and what you've done.
Sorry to
together.
throw you here,
Definitely a
Luke.
conversation to have been had off the air, but let's.
Well,
All right, hang on. We got to cue it up. Ready? Cue it up.
Well,
cue
we
it up,
should
cue it
have
up, cue
spoken
it
to
up.
the producer beforehand, shouldn't we?
we should have. Yeah.
Hang on. Shut up for a second. Ready? Cue.
This is why we're ranked 12 in the country.
I believe we dropped to 14
The-
because the
the
lack
what?
of consistency.
Did you say? Are we 14 now?
No, I'm not following that.
I'm claiming
Don't
that.
even listen to
I've still got the- you don't even
I sit here
listen.
to drink beers with you, boy.
Okay, hang on. Ready?
It's
And
good fun.
cue music.
10 fast facts with the Viking
Sisters.
I don't remember what the music
No,
was.
it's guitar.
No, it's all we've recorded it already. Remember?
Oh,
How long can I delay that?
There you go. Just go for it.
We'll go. So we've spoken about it before. That goes as one of the in the historical category of the BJCP, and it's one of the 9. There's 9 that are specified in that.
In the historical?
In the historical.
I did not
so
know that.
that's
Thank you for
pretty
that.
cool. And it originated in. I don't know why this is one fact, but it originated in Germany in the Middle Ages. I'm pretty sure late Middle Ages. So that goes like into the 15th century. So I reckon it was around that time.
Is
There
it
are a few
named after the
different-
town or some shit?
So kind of the river, but
Okay.
also the town. So the original water source was the Gose River, which ran through the town of Goslar. And I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. So any of you
That
Germans
sounds
from
much more German
Goslar,
than Gose.
Goslar.
I think Goslar's right.
Yeah, but it's actually commonly associated with Leipzig. How do you say it?
Yeah.
One of the two. Because
I'm with you, brother.
it's about 180 k's away, and that was a bigger town, and they really took it up when it made it there in the 16th and 17th century. So that was
And was that more common then?
heaps more. It was one of the most common drinks in that area in that time period.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
So, as a German style, it goes against the beer purity laws that they had over there at the time. So they're only allowed 4 ingredients, which was water. Oh no, 3 ingredients. Yeah, no, I can't count.
Well, they didn't know about the yeast.
They
They
didn't
didn't know
about
about the
yeast.
yeast. So at the time, it was water, barley, hops,
So what else were they putting in?
Wheat.
coriander, and wheat.
Were they really?
So up to 50% wheat. So this
got fucking
this
wheat
beer, this is probably the first of the actual interesting facts, but the Gose gained status as a regional specialty, which made it exempt from the German purity law
Okay,
because it was a regional specialty. So they said, you know what, you give it an exemption.
were there any other beers that got exemptions?
I didn't do the research into other beers that got exemptions, but we can follow up when another one pops up. We can expand on that.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so that's something cool. That's a good question. Or if anyone at home knows the answer to that, maybe send us a message.
Yeah,
Get in contact.
do that.
We've tried to touch on this next one. Traditionally, it was spontaneously fermented, so they just left it out in the open and let it go.
So I just said mine had no wheat in it. Mine's basically all wheat.
Oh.
I'm
Good
a
job, Chris.
fuckwit, aren't I?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But sometime in the 1800s, 19th century, they figured out how to make a Gose using top fermenting yeast and lactic acid. So that's,
Okay,
when they figured out that we don't have to leave it for
on them.
fucking 6 months and
How early
let
was
it
that?
sit in the 1800s.
Jesus.
Just said 1800s. There was no specific dates on
No,
that.
that's fair,
so
mate. That's
That's
still
a pretty big time period to be.
Are you trying to
kicking
remember
off.
something?
Hey?
You tied a thing around your finger.
Oh no, that's just my hair tie.
Okay.
I just play around. I fiddle. I'm a fiddler. So that ended up. It ended up there instead of on my
You gotta be
wrist
careful how
And you work
Chris
with
edits
who?
that later.
with my hair tie. Okay, that's
If you
it.
could just say kitty real quick. Chris,
That word will not come up in this podcast.
Did you know that Kinder means children in Germany? That's
what?
why Kinder.
Kinder.
That's why it's called a Kinder Surprise. It's for children's surprise. I don't know. The Kinder Surprise was German.
Does that
Anyway.
come from kindergarten as well? Is it?
Oh, probably.
Potentially.
What does garden
There's a
mean
lot
then?
of like German elements
School?
to it.
Does it really?
I don't
Okay.
know.
Anyway,
I think it's just a guard with children.
with what in it, Luke?
Okay.
Fiddlers.
How many? I've only done
How many
3.
through?
I've done 4. No,
Oh, you go to kinder. I went
there
to
you go.
fiddler
I've got
garden.
8, not 7.
Fiddlers can
must
you
have
fit in a segment?
Oh, sorry, Luke. I don't normally get carried away.
Alright.
Go on.
These they never end up as fast facts, do they?
Well, that's how you get ahead in the coral up.
Yeah.
Brilliant head retention.
Swish it around in your mouth first. Put it back in the glass. All right, so the Gose breweries would deliver the barrels
I can
to the
smell my breath
taverns,
in that.
where they'd go through a bit of a secondary fermentation,
That's horrible.
just in the cold, dark basements. The bunghole of the barrel would be closed.
Well, there's your editing done.
Bunghole fiddler.
In a dark basement, fritzels.
But they'd leave a hole so that the krausen could escape, so it'd continue in the secondary fermentation. When the krausen had stopped bubbling out of the foam had stopped coming out of the top, they knew that part of the fermentation was finished. And then they'd pour them into long neck bottles. And this one's kind of like a double fact, and I've kind of split it, but because I was trying to get to 10.
Yeah.
Didn't get there. So instead of capping the bottles or corking the bottles initially, they were just left open. So as the secondary fermentation began, the active yeast would float to the top and create a layer which would seal the beer.
Does anyone else want to brew this again the way this is?
A little bit.
I kind of
Yeah,
really
like
want
this
to.
is really
do it
interesting. And some of
traditionally.
this stuff was like weird traditional stuff that's like that's cool.
Luke, if you call the hospital, let them know we'll be there in about 2 months. That would be great.
Give them the heads up.
Free up a whole room for us together.
Yeah,
Have you got bubonic plague?
we were brewing shit from the 1800s. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. And there were some bits that I'd spoken to people that have done this, and it goes a bit leathery. Like the top goes leathery.
Oh,
So it's actual proper seal.
jeez.
So
Just rip the top off.
They
You have a meal as well, yeah.
yeah. So bit
Chew
of
through
a
it.
meal on top. So that was kind of cool. So then we've touched on this next bit already about the coming and going of the Gose style. So
So many words.
It's so
It's
juvenile,
gonna-
isn't it? It's so
I've sent you guys
juvenile.
on a dangerous path, haven't I? All right, so
What else do we need to get him to say?
I think that's it.
that's it. I think I'm done.
What rhymes with prate?
Is that a word?
Why not grape?
Yeah, I know. What? Where did you pull that one from? Prape. Can you look that up? If that's a word, please.
The fact checker returns.
I was relieved of those duties.
Anyway, the Gose style kind of disappeared and came back 3-ish times. Disappeared 3 times, yeah. So at the end of World War II, so it was really popular in the 17th, 18th century, slowly dropped off through the 19th and start of the 20th century. By the end of World War II, the last brewery that was producing Gose was nationalised and closed down. In 1945. For 4 years, there was no breweries producing Gose at all.
Obvious reasons.
Yeah.
At that time.
There were also some other ones. Some of my facts didn't line up and agree with each other because in that period, another site said that there were some really small brewers that were doing it, but they weren't breweries. So it's not like it had disappeared completely. It was just
So maybe closer to the
not
French border or something.
commercially,
Yep.
accessible in the German regions.
It's home brewing.
Bit of homebrew. So then 1949, a small brewery in Leipzig popped up, and it was one of the brewers from the last pub that shut down. He started that up. He died a year later, but he'd taught the recipe to his family, so the family kept doing it. But then when the last of that generation of brewers in his family died in the 60s, Gose disappeared again. And then it started in around 80, 85. Again, this guy started
18 still?
19. 1985. So
So the 1960s it died?
yeah,
So that
1960s.
lasted that long?
So it died between 1945 1949. It was dead.
Yep.
And then from mid 60s to mid 80s, it was dead.
You did say that, and for
Yeah.
some reason I went back to the 1800s.
You did, yeah.
Okay.
We're after World War II here.
Yeah. That little thing.
Yeah. Where are we going with that? It kicked off again in the 80s. Stopped in the late 80s. It only had a real short run through the 80s.
You can kind of...
Because I
Well,
can't
homebrewing
remember
was
the
kicking
reason.
back off in
Yeah,
78.
and then when it started to kick off with the
And they were
homebrew,
doing-
they
yeah.
picked it up again. And then, with the craft beer scene. And Leipzig has a few breweries now. It was a handful. They just said handful. They didn't give me a number. A handful of brewers that just do Goses. So it's like Goses their specialty
Yeah.
that they do in the brewery. And
Do you have any
like
of the
we've
names
said-
of those?
No. Oh, they had some of them had some weird German names that I wasn't
Okay.
going to bother trying to.
So, because I haven't
Pronounce
seen
on
any
here.
like proper... All the Goses I've found are American that we get here.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any German Goses in any of our craft beer places. I was just
Yeah.
wondering if it was like a thing they really... Like maybe they serve it out of casks and shit in Germany still. They don't really do the bottling thing, or what's the...
Yeah.
Yeah, like for such a history, it kind of gets lost in that whole German landscape of what people expect of German beer to be either like a wheat beer or a lager or something like that. It's just kind of...
It's
not as
really odd
prominent, is
for...
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you find it would die out in the 80s too because lager started to become really popular.
Lager dominated.
Just from my segment, it's funny. My segment has some very similar things to that. Almost exact
Cool.
years too.
Nice.
Oh,
Interesting.
my mind's working overtime.
Yeah. And then the last one we've touched on again is the salty flavour can either be from... the
Last one you've
salt-
what? You've touched on.
Too late.
It's been said, it's recorded. We're in trouble.
It's going to be
now.
good. The whole trailer is just going to be, and I touched on.
Fiddle in the garden.
Are we doing all 7?
This is number 8, actually. I miscounted. I don't need to put numbers next to them. But it's all really one big fact. The natural saltiness of the water, or by adding salt, and obviously the river that they were getting the water out of when they traditionally started this style was one with a bit more salt. in Australia, a lot of our coastal brewers will go get a bucket of salt water that they tip into it. That's not traditional either, because that's just adding a bit of salt water, not using the salt that's in the water.
It's dangerous too without calculating the sodium fucking levels. So I'm just picturing some cunt on Byron Bay with an 11-litre bucket. Just like, this will do.
It's exactly what I
There's
thought.
probably a little bit of trial and error, and yeah, who knows. But they wouldn't have been doing it scientifically. They would have just been using the water that was in the river.
Yeah, but that's kind of to a
And
point.
they figured out it was a bit
That's
salty.
the style, yeah. Oh, lovely, Luke, man. That's
Well done, Luke.
Thank you.
You did so well with our constant
Yeah.
giggling and
Yeah.
snickering. Really good job.
Must
Not going to say what I wanted to say because I would have got
Very nice.
All right, shall
Well
we
done, mate.
wrap that one up there and get into the homebrew next?
Let's do that.
Sounds good.
Oh, hang on. Oh, we need to... Oh, can you start pouring? Hello and welcome back to segment 2 of episode 303. What is a Gose? Pronounced that way, by the way, and I'm sure of it.
It's Gose.
Gose. No, that's a good. There's a
No.
goose.
The goose
No, I've
is
already-
different. Yeah, it goes.
I've done it once already. I called it Goes.
Goes.
Shame on me.
Is it goes? Goes up? Doesn't matter.
So the
Wherever the kindergartens go.
Luke, Goes.
so it was GO-SUH was the pronunciation.
That's right.
So
Don't
however you would
pour it like
pronounce
a
that.
fuckwit.
That's fancy.
Look at that cascade. It's on nitro, by the way, as well.
Okay.
Actual.
No. Oh, that's yours. Okay.
That's a ripper joke.
This is my homebrewed version of a berry Gose, and I've actually held on to the name for quite a while. Anyone here watch Harry Potter?
Yes.
This is a Wingardium berry Gose.
No.
Crickets.
I've never seen those films.
I've watched them.
I've watched them once.
Oh, because
but-
Wingardium Leviosa.
Yeah,
It's like
I got the joke, but
you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, not funny. All right.
not as impressed as you were hoping for. I think.
No.
Yeah. That was shit. So that's what you called it.
Wingardium berry Gose, or
I wish you could solve this.
No, that wasn't the real name I was thinking of. It was just a joke.
for some reason I thought you and Hannah watched heaps of Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
I do. Mainly she does, and I sit through it. I
Okay.
do like it.
Because I've seen a couple of the the movies. I've seen like one or two.
As
But
opposed to.
I was a kid. I don't know how many there are. There's like fucking
7?
heaps.
9.
7.
I'm not sure. But so I was like doing
Yeah,
that as
I
a bit
think
of
it's
a...
nine, maybe.
all the Harry
Possible.
Potter fans is like, and I thought you were one of those. Like, for some reason, like, how he geeks out a bit about Star Wars.
Are you a Star Wars freak?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, I've never watched one of them.
Fucking love Star Wars, but the new 3 have pissed me right off.
But yeah.
And I remember going to the movies to see it
You
with
watched
you guys.
the
It's
Mandalorian?
Kylie Jenner.
No,
Mandalorian.
I'm waiting
do
for the
it.
Mandalorian.
Yeah.
That's apparently supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it is because it's Star Wars fans actually wrote it, not
Okay.
some dude who got paid a
Not
lot of
at
money.
Disney, yeah. So this is my berry Gose. Now, I did some experimenting with a while back with fruiting beers, and I didn't want to do just a plain raspberry. I didn't want to do just a plain, a blackberry, blah blah, because we found that it was really single dimensional basically. So I actually got mixed berries and cherries. And I've put those in. So, do you want me to go through the recipe first and then the fruiting process? Or
Yeah,
how
or
would
let's
you
go
like?
through the whole thing from the start.
Okay.
Materials, process.
So, from
Then
the
we can
start
do the
with this
taste.
one, to brew a Gose, you can either do the low and slow kind of leave it and traditional method of souring. You can do a kettle sour. But there was this method that intrigued me, and it was called the Homebrew Cheaters method. So what I did was I mashed my grain. So I was just 1.9 kilos of German wheat malt and 1.5 kilos of German Pilsner. Mashed that for an hour. Finished the mash. And then I put in 800 grams of German acidulated malt. And I mashed that for an hour after initial mash had gone. And that was because apparently once you put that acidulated malt in, that will drop the pH. Now, I think that my pH meter is fucked because it said it dropped to about 3.5 pH, which I think is too low. Yeah, especially for just mashing.
Much malt did you put in? How much acidulated malt?
800 grams, which was as a percentage of the malt bill.
3.4, 4.2.
It was almost 20%.
Yeah.
20%. And look, it did drop the pH significantly. But with that much, I doubt. I really do doubt. I don't think it is that far. But apparently that's about the borderline of when you can use traditional yeast still.
Yeah.
So I used a German ale yeast. Just confirming. I used some Hallertau at 20 grams first wort hop. There was 20 grams of sea salt that I used in the boil at 0 minutes.
For how many litres of beer?
32.
32
there was 30 in the 27.5, sorry, post boil.
Yep.
27.5.
So it's under a gram a litre.
No, 20 gram. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And then, German ale yeast to round this one off. And before I fruited it, once the fermentation was finished, it's a 4.1% beer. 4.04%, sorry. OG of 1038, finishing at 1007. 11 IBU, SRM of 3. It's not because it's fruited, but it was pretty clear, pretty light, pretty nothingy, and it was really tart, like out of the fermenter. I was kind of like, maybe it was like 3.5. And then what I did, because I actually had a few people ask me how I fruit beer, I bought a conditioning cube because I don't really have any usable fermenters anymore besides my stainless conical. And I bagged up 2 kilos of mixed berries and cherries, which is half the amount that I've used previously when fruiting beer. So there's only 2 kilos in this.
You normally use 4.
I used 4 for my, for the others, the ratio was a 4 kilo per 20, whatever it was. Because I used 4 kilos in my Saison, my raspberry Saison.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever used that much.
Yeah, because it was frozen. It's frozen, so I was like, all right, whatever. But yeah, I used 2 kilos in this because I didn't want the fruit to be a highlight. I wanted it to be a
compliment,
a part of the beer, basically. So yeah, supposed to have a salty, tart, fruity beer. Have a taste, boys, and tell me what you think. The colour, first of all, is much more red than
the commercial example.
And I this came out really light actually compared to my raspberry Saison.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like, okay, maybe I've done it right, but tasting this one now, I'm a bit worried about how much fruit this actually has.
As in, you don't think it has enough fruit? Or
No, I haven't really tasted it again since I've had that, but just the colour and stuff, I'm like, have I overfruited
I just
it
need to
again?
get some more because I think when I poured it, I fucked it.
Really?
Surprise.
Yeah, what do you boys think? What are you getting? Nose and taste and all of it.
I'm actually getting a fair bit of malt.
yeah,
I think. And I don't know whether that's from the extended extended mash time, because that's kind of getting into decoction mashing territory. Mashing for that long, is that a reasonable assumption where you start to get a bit more maltiness out of
Decoction
the
mashing
plain
is
stuff?
where you pull out.
You pull out bits and boil it and put it back
bring it
in
back.
to keep the temperature going. But
Yeah, it's just a lot. It's
is
a
that
long
like
mash.
a long mash? So you're going to get more.
But the pH was supposed to drop to a point
Yeah.
where the enzyme stopped converting.
Yep.
But again, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know if this is as tart as I was expecting What do you think?
No,
Like
now that I've had this
the
one
other
though.
one.
Before I got a lot of tartness off this, and now it's just comparing. It's got nothing. This actually tastes almost Pilsner-esque. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, the salt is kind of not as
Dialed
obvious.
back.
It's
The tartness is
even
dialed back. The fruitiness
the
is a
fruit
bit
flavour
more.
is. Yeah, I don't know.
fruit's a bit
For
more.
how much you put in, I was expecting more, to be honest.
2 kilos worth?
Yeah,
you
I was
mean?
expecting more
You-
flavour.
Once you're just kids playing at home, of course. Once you put 2 kilos of frozen berries for how long?
That was another 2 weeks.
Another 2, right?
And I let this condition for about 6 weeks as
And
well.
6, okay.
So I had it sitting at about 3 degrees for 3 weeks. The primary fermentation was about 3 weeks. Then after that 6 total week initial fermentation, then I put it on fruit.
Okay. All right.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, interesting method.
So
I've always
finish
wanted to
that
try the acidulated malt method to see if that was going to be reliable. Is that kind of pitched as it's cheaper than using lacto?
Faster.
Faster.
So if I was to do a kettle sour, I'd have to wait overnight, maybe 1 or 2 days to drop that pH.
Yep.
Whereas that acidulated malt just goes literally straight in. So I've got a 2-hour mash instead of a 1-hour mash.
Okay.
And the
You
pH.
don't have to wait.
Yeah, there's no wait
Yeah,
time.
no
It's,
wait
it's
time.
the homebrew
Just go.
cheaters. Let's get this done.
Do they
for
give
me,
you
it
a
worked.
guide with the acidulated malt? So like, depending on how much,
It's a near enough sort of
it's a near
estimate.
enough. Yeah.
There was a table, for example,
Yep.
if you want,
Yeah. So
if
there
your
is
pH
the
your pH
information's out
Yep.
there that you can. Yeah.
Yep. I'll try find the article and I'll link it. I've actually
Yep.
sent an article, a very similar one, but it wasn't the one to our buddy of the show, Cringeworthy Homebrew. I can't find the original article like that I read.
Yeah. I came across a good one that had like 5 different techniques you can use, and it was going to be my sort of ambition to try, be
Compare them all.
proficient at
Yeah.
using all of them and compare them to one another. I think the cheaters way is actually just to use lactic acid to
Oh, really?
pH. Yeah.
I've got lactic acid, but they said to use acidulated malt.
Yeah.
So-
So that was like 2 of the ways I remember as well.
Tasting this now that we've had this other one, I am getting this weird Pilsner vibe off this. Like a German Pils that I've got malt is
Yeah. It's more malt driven.
way
than
more
the-
dominant than that one.
than the other one.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It's like not as tangible, but the commercial example tasted like slightly brighter. And when Simmo said this isn't beer, I'm like, yeah, this actually does taste a little bit like a cross between like a sparkling wine
Yeah.
and like
soft
rosé
drink.
or something.
Yeah,
It was
right.
just a weird blended sort of area. It was quite unique, and I think the carbonation is also quite different. I thought the commercial was quite higher than yours.
Yeah.
Not that that's a game change, but I think in terms of my initial perception, that might have just made me think differently.
So you think
Does
this
that make
needs
sense?
more spritz?
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind
don't know if
having
it
a little bit
needs
more.
it, but
You'd like a bit
I'd
more?
like a little bit
Yeah.
more. Luke?
I'll drink it flat.
I'll drink it before it ferments. As an animal.
Yeah, so what do you boys think? I'm actually
Drink it
really
straight out the
weirdly
kettle.
torn on this. Like after my initial reaction with this beer was, fuck, I might have still overfruited it. Fuck, it's really tart.
It's really hard to judge it, isn't it?
I could get the salt as well. I was very worried about over
barely-
salting this.
I can't remember last time I drank a Gose as well.
was
Like,
gonna
it's
say
so rare for me to
I haven't
drink
had
one.
many.
So when I had that the first time, the other day when I was here, I had a little bit. You think, oh yeah, it's tart, and it's got the salt, and it's got the spritziness that I was after. And then you do have the commercial equivalent. It's like, oh well, hang on, is that what a Gose is meant to be? Really tart.
Do you remember the
Really
watermelon Gose that we
pucker.
had?
Was that
The
like,
watermelon, the
Yeah.
It was a fair while. I do remember
The
having it,
ballistic?
but
because
That was like super watermelon.
super watermelon, wasn't it? Didn't we
Yeah.
rip it to shreds?
No, I think we liked it,
We
but
liked
it
it.
was a gold medal. It was a trophy winner, but it was also very fruity, and I don't think that the fruit comes through much in this,
No.
especially compared to.
I did
the
say before,
commercial.
yes, but yeah, you're probably right.
So what do you boys think next time? Do I keep it like this, and is it an acceptable version of the style,
I think it is.
or
Yeah, that's
think
the
it's
thing. Like,
definitely an
I was
acceptable
saying
My best
version.
knowledge, I think it's acceptable.
for like
It's not. Yeah, it's not bad. Like you can obviously drink this.
should I put more salt in? Because like it is subtle. Like I still taste the salt, but I'm very sensitive. So like the guidelines for me were 20 to 50 or something, 20 or maybe even 20 to 60 grams of salt could go in to the batch size that I made. So I stuck to 20 because I didn't want to make salt water. What do you think? Like, could this be
for my
tweaked
own
up?
taste, I would want more salt and I would want more fruit flavors.
Okay, so I could even more fruit, more salt. Base is okay though.
I mean, it's hard. Like these sour beers are pretty bare bones sort of stuff anyway. Like I wouldn't go. It just has to be wheat and pilsner, doesn't it? Like you don't really need to go anything fancy there. Maybe your souring technique.
Properly sour it
Maybe I want
next time.
a little bit more lacto sort of flavour, but again, is that what you need in a Gose? I'm not 100%.
As a
Maybe I've
cheaters
just been
version,
accustomed. Yeah,
this was very quick, by the way, and the only reason it was a six week ferment is because I wanted it to be. It would have been done in 3 weeks, and then you could have had it like cold crash for 24 hours.
I like
and
it.
served it, and I think that
I love the
maybe
colour
what I
of
should
it.
have done.
yeah.
You know, compared,
is cool to have a-
compared to the commercial equivalent. I like that it's that color. I like it's pink. Sits really well in the glass. Looks cool. Head retention's good for a Gose.
It is actually.
It's not see through either, and it is like the color of a rosé basically.
Yeah. A light rosé.
Whereas the this Anderson Valley was almost
Looking at it, you think it was a pale
beer,
ale in
yeah.
a glass. Yeah.
I was quite intrigued by that when it was raspberry flavour. Then we saw it go in, and it was like gold.
Yeah. So I don't know where to go from here. I'm a bit half and half.
There's definitely a few tweaks you could do, and I reckon it's worth doing again. You might learn something, or we've got a few things you could change.
Yeah.
Have a crack at different souring.
Yeah, I think
more fruit, less fruit, more salt.
Different kinds of fruit as well,
yeah,
I guess,
different
if you want
kinds
to
of
fruit
fruit.
beers. The fruiting process went really well as well. So that's one thing that I'm actually doing a video on that now for our YouTube channel. But I basically used a conditioning cube, dropped.
What is that?
What's that? That's
Conditioning
the 25 or 27 litre cubes that it's called a conditioning cube. You can put
I know what you're
boiling
talking
wort
about.
basically
Yeah.
and it'll just sit there.
Yeah, I know. What you're talking
It's a big square. For those who
Yeah.
don't know though,
Yeah.
it's a good question, Sim. I used a muslin bag and I put all of the
How
fruit
the fuck did
into
you do that?
So I put the muslin bag in, and I basically, and it'll be on the video. I peeled the hole open, and then I kind of like tied around the hole at the top,
This edit's going to be great after the show, by the way.
and then I just poured the frozen fruit in, and then I lifted up just enough, tied off the muslin bag, and left it in. And the reason is because I've had, especially in the past with things like raspberries and cherries, that can leave like little pips and shit in the beer. It blocks up your auto siphon real quick. This was crystal clear going out. Not crystal clear, but like hazy clear. But there was nothing floating in the beer. And the
Can I
best,
ask how you got the bag out?
literally. So here's the other thing, because it ends up being fucking fucked fruit in the end, like real soft and malleable. So you literally just when it's empty and it's all in the keg, I just tipped it out and the bag came out. There's nothing in the bag. You know what I mean? The bag, because I knew I was going to get those questions. But like,
what's the thoughts on frozen to fresh? Any reason?
Frozen is you don't need
I know it's a
to.
lot cheaper as well, probably.
Yeah, and you don't need to boil it first. You don't need to worry about any other yeast being on the fruit.
okay.
It's frozen. Like there's nothing alive on there. So
of course.
it's a real cheap, easy way to, especially if your beer's already at 3 degrees. There's no shock to the yeast. There's nothing. It's just in there. Whereas if you use other kinds of fruit, you have to really chop your fruit up as well to make sure that the flavors and aromas and the color gets out. And fresh fruit, you kind of want to, when you're prepping fresh fruit, you do want to boil it first or use a pulp or something. And even then, you got this mush that has to, it's just an extra step, I find.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Like, it's definitely a way, but yeah.
I've got an idea. I'm still thinking about the fruitiness of this beer. You said you used mixed berries. I've only done that once before, and I did that in the lambic. And I thought, even though I've got a lot of fruit in here, it doesn't taste like anything. I reckon maybe it is that you have too many competing flavors, and even though you have used like a good chunk of fruit, I think because I noticed that when I had my lambic as well, I was like, oh, this is, it's gone pink, like it's almost exactly the same color, but it also didn't really taste like anything, or didn't taste like a particular fruit. Like maybe that's like
when we did our ice cream IPAs, we only used 1 kilo per 10 litres, and it was heaps of fruit
Oh,
flavour.
fuck yeah. That
Because
was
we used a single fruit,
heaps.
and they were both frozen fruits as well.
Mm.
That was, mango and boysenberry. And there was heaps of fruit in that.
So this is basically
So-
2 kilos per 30.
Yeah, okay, so that's probably a bit. under
So
what
we're
we
one and a
used,
half.
but,
One and a half.
But still, I think it's like ringing a bell in my head right now that's what it tasted like using mixed berries. And maybe it's a thing where you're used to looking for one particular fruit flavour, but this almost tastes a little bit muddled. Like nothing's
Nothing
jumping
stands
out.
out.
Like there's...
You get
That's just the thing.
general
I was just
fruit.
thinking about it.
No,
As
that's a good
Simmo was
point.
talking about the colour there. I'm like, oh, fuck, I know that colour.
You get fruitiness, but pick the fruit and you don't. Yeah, that's a good point.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Might try that next time. I'm actually really happy with the beer, to be honest. I'm going to use this as a homebrew challenge beer as well, so I'll be ticking off my fruited beer with that one. Because you've actually got Gose on your list, so I'm really interested
do I?
to see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
yeah.
sick.
I'm really interested to see what you do with that. We've got a lot of stickers we can put on that sheet, by the way. For those listening, that's the homebrew challenge beer, or the BJCP challenge. We should rename it, really. We do not want to copyright anyone else's shit. Whatever.
Why now?
Well, I don't really want to rename it, but it's like that guy's doing literally the exact same thing we are.
He's mulling through it as well.
And I was, his thing is brewing one beer a week.
I know. That's...
And I was
Whoa.
like, what?
Yeah.
the
Who's drinking
fuck?
it?
He is.
Oh,
But
is he a
like-
big boy?
No, he's a small English guy who lives in America. But I didn't even copy him. I copied some other dudes who are called the Brew dudes. But no, they weren't doing this though. When I went on their website, because I actually like them, they had the BJCP guidelines, and every beer they'd done, they'd just done a tick next to it and like a link to that recipe. And I was like, rad.
Let's do all of it.
I'm going to do all of them
Yeah.
and call it the homebrew challenge. And then like you came back like 2 months later and was like, someone's done it. Like I feel like that episode of South Park, The Simpsons did it. Also, I might be like, fuck it. So anyway, fruited beer, fruited Gose. I'm happy with it. There's tweaks I can definitely make, but that's a drinkable beer, eh?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Don't be too hard on yourself.
What do you reckon? We're going to do some dud-duds and then we'll come back with a little... We don't really have a segment 3, but we kind of do. I got a little treat for you boys. It's going to be a bad treat. We got some Simmo Says and some BrewBusters!
Listen up.
What do you reckon? We come back with that?
That sounds good.
Hello and welcome back to segment 3. Now, we don't normally do a segment 3 in our new ones. It's normally we just got a couple of little games to finish
2A
off.
and 2B.
Yeah, we can do that. What I've got for you boys is a little taster. So, for those listening along at home, this rice lager has been my white whale. Originally, it was my lemon drop lager. I used the same recipe with, so it's like rice hulls and flaked rice or some shit in the recipe as well to kind of make it happen. I used some Sriracha Ace hops and we drank it pretty fresh. And the Sriracha Ace hops made me sick to my stomach. We had it last week or so. It's a really when I say it was clear and see-through, it was fucking. Actually, I think it was in a different glass. It looked a lot lighter and clearer than that, but still looks pretty. Yours is going to be a bit hazy, Simmo, and there's a reason for that. This is the same beer. Does it taste and smell a bit better?
So I wasn't here for the episode that you guys did this. I did enjoy listening to it though, because you really sound like you were suffering. But
Yeah.
it was my first taste of it.
It doesn't taste
very
so much
bitter.
better. Yeah, there's.
So it's just the one type of hop that you used for aroma, is that right? Or just one hop the whole way through?
It was one hop the whole way through, but I've done something to this beer to try and make it more palatable. And to me, it has made it more palatable. It's still not good. If I'm after
So
the
you've done
first sip
something
there.
between. Explain yourself.
Last
that's
time
very
we drank it, and this time.
So
You told me last
does it
week,
smell
a couple of
different?
weeks ago, you told me it was going to be different.
Does it smell different?
It almost smells like a tropical hop or something.
Yeah, it smells a bit
and
sweeter.
You get like the
Throwing
weird.
some citra in it.
Citra? No.
Bang on. I have got those keg balls,
Righto.
and I've put 20 grams of Citra in 3 days ago. And I just literally, for those who don't know, there's these keg balls you can buy. Luke, you want to say that quickly?
Hop spider.
Hey, close enough. What are those things next to the train tracks as well to stop the rails moving around?
Rocks, I think. Is that what it is? Is that rocks, Luke? Yes, it's rocks.
Probably.
Yeah, so these little metallic balls. These little balls, Luke.
Yes.
You basically, and there's very little hop matter that comes out, to be fair. I put 20 grams of Citra in there, close it up, and the whole hop ball is actually sitting in the keg right now, which is why Simmo's pour, which was first, it's actually a bit maybe hazy. But these other ones, like Luke, out of your glass, especially the Heineken glass, that is crystal the fuck clear, and there's nothing.
So how did you come to the conclusion that hopping an over-hopped beer would make it better?
Because it over-hopped with the wrong kind of hop.
Yep.
Sriracha Ace wasn't even supposed to be dry hopped with, and
Yep.
that's what that smell and an aroma was. And Citra is obviously a, even mismatch. You can tell the session ale is just fresh Citra kind of bursting.
So
Were you guys saying the first time it is quite bitter? Is it like a high alpha acid?
I feel like
think
it's
it's-
got bitterer.
Yeah, bitterer.
More bitter.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's I'm guessing with the keg hop, there's obviously some hop creep or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, sure.
You're also not supposed to leave that keg ball in there, but it's like I was going to do it for 4
don't
days.
do that.
And then so I'm going to take it out tomorrow.
Yeah. Treat it like normal dry hopping for
Yeah.
your fermenting.
So it has done something.
What do they cost?
$5.
Very little.
Okay, fuck all.
Yeah.
Good investment.
Yeah, I think so. It's changed the beer. This beer's been done 3 ways now, basically. It's still not good, but I can drink it now.
fucking
And
oath.
the other
Yeah, it's not
day
bad.
or the other month, I could
Yeah.
not fucking.
It was way too fresh, I think, the first
Yeah.
time. Even the second time when we had it and you hadn't changed anything and it just mellowed out. The first time, the hops just, were punching.
There's also no backbone to this. Like, this
No.
is Pilsner and rice, basically. Like, there's nothing there for these hops to lean on. I just thought I'd give you boys a little bit of a... let's see how that goes. I have to tip the rest of that keg. I'm not drinking that, I don't think. So, as an experiment, though, I can see me having use for that in the future.
The bowls.
Yeah.
Well, last time you keg hopped, you just dumped hop in the keg and that was a disaster.
That was so bad.
Again, where Mike just said you want to treat it like a regular dry hop, you're not going to be transferring it out of the keg if you just dump loose hop in it into another keg, are you?
No,
It's just going to have hop floating around. It's going to clog all your shit.
So if I ferment in the keg again,
You'd want to be using
I can use those hop balls.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, not as I was hoping to have this taste like a mismatched session. I'll be honest with you, just because.
Is that what you're going for?
Well, I know they use Citra, and I know Citra is like a very fragrant.
No, before you put the citra in it.
No,
You weren't you weren't trying to replicate that at all.
No,
because-
no.
To be fair,
because
your
you're
lemon
fucking
drops-
miles off.
Yeah.
Your lemon drop lager was pretty good.
Lemon drop lager was good. Me and George actually drank that whole fucking keg.
Yeah.
So when I made it again, instead
you
of
were just
lemon drop hops, I used
Changing
Sriracha
stuff
Ace.
for the sake of.
I literally
it worked,
just changed lemon drop for Sriracha. That was it, and that doesn't work. Like Sriracha Ace hops are their own beast.
A league of their own.
Yeah, and so I thought maybe some Citra would hurt, but no. Look, that's done. That's dusted. I'm not drinking any more of that. It's not that it's that bad. Like
not
I
that
could
bad.
drink that, but like
It's not as enjoyable
There's
as the
other
other
things
beers.
to drink.
I don't want to. So yeah. Boys, what do you reckon? Do we want to go on with some Simmo Says, or do we
Games. Yep. Let's go.
Simmo
Play a
Says.
game.
We can play that game.
Let's pause. Pause. Simmo Says. You ready?
I gotta get the beer.
Yeah, that's right. We can keep this going.
Simmo says.
Simmo Says.
And I'm here.
You can tip that one out if you like.
I don't care that we're 3 episodes into this season. You're not ruining it anymore. Don't.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do
I will
this.
not ruin it. I will not ruin it.
What are you ruining?
He's gonna ruin it.
The show, the Simmo Says.
Yeah,
You tried to earlier.
Please.
This is highly unregulated. Just
What are the what's the rules?
if you get it wrong the first time you're out, then you have to shut up.
Okay, that's fair. I can do
Yeah,
that.
it's fair.
I can do that.
Yes, you can. Watch him not do it.
Are we gonna?
He's gonna start guessing before the beer comes out.
Are we gonna do it? If you got it, you write it on your phone and you put your phone down.
What was that
Then
time?
you won't know who wrote
what
it
was
first.
that time?
No. Because if Chris writes it and puts his phone down first, we know Chris has done it first, and then he's not allowed to touch his phone.
You were
Okay.
going to do a time capsule thing last year. I remember listening to an episode the other day, and it was supposed to be some time capsule thing with Simmo. So I just heard a can crack. Did you?
Yes.
So it could be one of only 3 breweries that use cans.
God, who uses cans anymore?
Well, and it was was talking about olden times, like back in 1800s and shit, like with the same, and then the 1940s and shit. He was saying.
Simo was. He said it followed a very similar trajectory to mine, so I'm guessing it's something German. Maybe. If war and stuff has to do with it.
Dankeschön.
No sniffings.
No sniffing.
You just sniffed.
Yes, I did. That's a wheat beer. That's a wheat beer. That's a wheat beer, Simmo.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, there's no secrets there.
We're ready to go, but we're ready. Oh, I think I'm.
That was almost the word.
I think I'm a little bit drunk.
What did you say?
We were almost ready to go, Sim.
Shit.
Okay.
All right, ground rules, Chris. Let's go.
Ground rules.
What are the ground rules?
Once you say a name of a brewery, you're out.
Oh, so we're not writing it.
Michael.
Are you gonna
All right.
bleep it out?
I'll bleep it out. Yeah. So
Is that how you want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
you
get
blurt
it.
it out, but you only get one blurt.
You only get one blurt. Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you blurt, no more saying things.
Also, if you get it in the first sentence because you know the brewer's names, maybe put
Do-
your hand
no,
up
no.
and we'll just let the others listen it out, right?
Do the thing that Mike
Do-
said.
do the thing.
Write it on
Yep.
on your notes in whatever, and then just be happily sitting it out.
I'm going to open up an empty note that I have no intention of using.
Notepad, yeah, I'm going to do the same. Notepad, see, clean. I'm going to leave it like this,
I'm going more visual. I'll be.
so you can type. All right. Go, Sim.
We ready? Beer in
Ready.
hand, sniffing, tasting. A little village in the province of Flemish Brabant in Belgium is the birthplace of wheat beer. Renowned for its rich soil, bountiful wheat harvests, and abundant barley crops, the area has justifiably earned its reputation as a brewing county. It all started around 1445 with monks who divided their time between prayers, devotion, and the manufacture of wine and beer.
Just making a note that I'm doing my thing here.
The monks were the first to discover the unique recipe for this wheat beer. With a little patience and some truly inspired experimentation, they refined it to the blend we know today. Do you think you have it?
Yeah.
As the
me
area
now
of
as well.
Belgium was part of the Netherlands at the time, the monks had
can
access
I pick my phone
to...
back up? Or am I committed now?
No, because you haven't said anything. You can change it.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
if you're going to change it, but it just means that Chris is
still beating
Chris
me.
is still in front. If Chris changes it and you've got yours down, then
Yeah, all right.
you'll be in front of Chris
Got to be honest. There's only one real Belgian one that I know is Belgium.
and puts it in cans.
Fuck.
Can I continue now?
Please do.
As this area of Belgium was part of the Netherlands at the time, the monks had access to a diverse range of exotic herbs and spices being imported from the Dutch colonies and in the East Indies. Certain historical records suggest that the very first wheat beers were in fact intensely sour, and this is what may have led the monks to their creative blending of the orange peel and coriander. With these exotic ingredients,
Can I change it?
they created
Yeah.
the world famous recipe. You can't change it. You've already had a.
He got to change it.
No.
But okay.
Yeah, so no one's in first place. You can change it. I've changed mine.
Over hundreds
Can I
of
just
years.
say as well? Sorry, mate. I really like your hair. How it is. I thought I liked you with long
I was
hair.
going to say something earlier, but normally that opens me up to criticisms of
everyone.
my own hair, but it
Yeah.
does look good to me.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I really liked your
Do you
long
like it?
hair, and I was a bit like, Don't cut it.
saw
But
it
now
last night.
I really like
Yeah.
your hair.
I liked it last week when I saw it. Last week, a couple of weeks ago. It was good. I didn't say anything though.
I think it was fresh then.
It was.
Over hundreds of years, the village's brewing industry grew. In 1709, the
You're
town
down first now. And I'm down second.
In 1709, the town boasted 12 breweries. Check this out. 12 breweries, and it proved to be a golden century in the town's history. The wealth of the region continued to grow, and by 1726, the town possessed 36 breweries and over 110 malting houses, or one brewery for every 58 people in its 2,000 villages. By the end of the 19th century, it was a true brewing centre with 36 breweries in a village. I said that.
I think I know.
The town's
I got it wrong the
long-term
first time.
prosperity seemed guaranteed. The world was moving on. The post-World War II economy, industrial production, new refrigeration techniques, and the rise of clever and clear lagers all took their toll. The lager revolution pulled most of the global market away from traditional wheat beer, and in 1957, Thomson, the last wheat beer brewing in the town, closed its doors. In 1965, however, a milkman in town, Pierre Celis, decided with some other villagers to take action and preserve the original recipe. Brewing initially out of his milk shed, the operation quickly expanded into the vault,
Pretty confident.
a nod to the monastic past of the technique. By 1985, the new brewery was producing 62,000 barrels of beer a year, utilising modern techniques, recipes, hundreds of years in the making. Today, 9 out of 10 wheat beers sold in Belgium are from this label, and are continuing to introduce the world to the wonders of wheat beer.
Okay. Before you go. So
We need some discussion. So Luke
goes-
is clubhouse leader right now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that this may have been the first beer that I did 10 fast facts.
And that was exactly what I was going to say. And I was trying
I was-
to
I
there
was
were
also-
bits in there that sounded familiar, but I couldn't be too sure.
That's really the only one that I know that is in cans that would taste similar to this that is available to us.
And then my second point
I think
was, why did you change your mind?
Because of the
Hang on.
taste.
Hang
So
on.
I thought it was the Leffy Blonde because of the blonde ale from, what's this called? The Belgian Beer Cafe. And then I
That's
was
way
like,
more banana-y than this.
but I can't remember off the
Yeah.
top of my head.
Okay, so that
And-
makes sense then.
So I thought it was the Leffy Blonde straight away. But
As soon as you started talking about orange and coriander, that
So-
swung me.
So I think
Are we all
should
going to
reveal-
yell out at the same
No,
time?
so we'll go through.
We'll go in
Luke
order.
was
So
the
if
winner.
I get it wrong, no, I could get it wrong still.
That's what I mean. So
yeah,
you
yeah. So if
reveal
I get
first.
it wrong, then it goes to Chris. If Chris gets it wrong, it goes to Mike. So I thought it was the Hogarden.
Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey.
Who spelled it the most right?
and you put,
Wait,
I
can I
thought you
stop
said
halfway?
"Oh, grandma" then.
Well, let's see the.
It was Ho in capital letters. Thank God.
but you, how close were we to putting that down
Yeah,
at the
I
same
bet you.
time?
Yeah.
You bet he did beat me.
Is that the first time I've won?
Yeah. Well done.
Disqualified. Did he spell
Well
Hogarden right?
Two
So
A's.
I went
I
straight
think
to
it is
the
two
Belgian
A's,
beer.
yeah.
It is.
You know what threw me?
HOE is.
You threw me more than
I
anything.
didn't
Because
know
I,
little-
I
little-
heard you crack the
little
can.
dotsy on top.
Nope, they're in bottles.
Yeah, that was what was sitting in my mind. I'm like, why would a Belgian
It sounded
brewer
like
have it
a-
in
That
cans?
sounded exactly
They're
like
bottle
It was
fermented.
just the
They're
hiss
bottle fermented.
of-
okay.
bottle
that
conditioned.
sounded
They
like
do
a-
sell
bottle
it in
conditioned.
cans. I've seen
That
it
sounded
in
like,
cans.
and that's when it went to my head.
Yeah.
Like I was like the Belgian the
Was that a
Leffy.
bottle?
They're
Of,
bottles out there. Yeah.
That sounded a
That-
lot.
I was being real
sounded-
crafty about it.
oh, did you
Okay.
open a can as well?
No,
Ah,
I just did
there
it.
He
you
didn't
go.
have a beer out yet. He was just like, pfft.
That was really good, Sim, and that had me because because I was going can. I went to the Leffy
Yep.
Blonde because I was like, I swear I've seen that shit at fucking wherever in that weird fucking stumpy can.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Now owned by AB InBev, obviously.
are they really?
Yes.
Ah,
Which all happened in the merger in like 2005 or whatever, when the American one merged with the. And then anyway, there's
Yeah.
a long story to that as well, but who cares?
that was good, man. Fucking
good.
that was
Another one down.
One of our episodes from last year, wasn't
It
it?
was. Or season 1. No, last year, because that
It
was
was last year.
that was a COVID episode.
I think we did it on, yeah.
So
on
we all
Skype.
got it, and Luke got it first. Isn't that fucking?
It's good.
Fuck
it's
is
good
happening?
whenever.
Well, we did only do it a year ago, so
Yeah.
I'll say.
Oh, boys.
And
I thought it'd
that's
tie in
good.
a little bit
Yeah.
to
No, that's
this.
good.
No, that was really
And there was some similarities
So,
in your.
heaps of
we've got-
similarities. And
yeah.
I think that probably the European region just around that World War II.
Yeah, it must have. Yeah.
It probably shows in a lot of when we do these traditional styles that a lot of industries struggled for a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
let's
Absolutely.
cut the
Yeah,
cake right
cool.
there and go. Time for BrewBusters.
BrewBusters.
Do it.
And now, please welcome the host of BrewBusters,
Michael Kogler.
All right, I've got to start this section.
Have we got more of this, by the way?
No.
Okay.
That was really good.
Jeez, I was
I really enjoyed
4
that.
words into that sentence before you cut me off.
How do you think I felt in the bloody segment?
That was mostly me as well. So.
Mostly you.
I missed one episode, and I know we do our best to make sure I'm always included. And I understand it was the one time I had to slip, and I said, Chris, can you maybe tag in for me? You know how BrewBusters works. You know how Blockbusters works. You've listened to enough of the Ricky Gervais show. You know how these clues are supposed to work. The majority of the time that I give a clue, you understand why it makes sense.
Yeah.
And you
He did a Luke friendly one. He spelled it out for me, literally with letters.
D'Anton.
you dish that shit out. And what's worse, as I usually do, every time you post something on Instagram, I say, oh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever read, or just tried to fucking make you look bad. And I put a bit of sauce on that one because I thought that's the shittest clue. And you're tarnishing this whole show, and you're tarnishing me by putting that shit out under the fucking BrewBusters banner. You know what's worse? I think the guy that won is like, that was the easiest clue because it made so much sense. Fuck that. That's not what this whole section is about.
That was Brett. It was brilliant.
Oh,
do you want to know what one I was going to do?
God.
And then I changed it because I didn't want to piss you off.
Luke stole my joke. So I was going to literally spell out the fucking answer for this month's BrewBusters.
Can I give you the one that I was going to do instead, but I didn't?
Please.
You were going to get pissed off. Ready?
And this wasn't going to be me pissed off.
The Jamaican man wanted me to move that reptile. SL.
Shifts the lizard. Yeah, easy. That is good though.
That's way better than.
Oh, really?
He still hates it.
No, I thought that was good.
I should have done that one then. I did D'Anton. D'Anton. Anyway.
The first letter's D. Good.
Didn't you have one when we talked about you were mad and you actually had one that was really good as well? You came up with, or you had another one for Dayton and it was heaps better. And I was like, why didn't you go with that?
Yeah, the one that you thought of with Dainton.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, this is the chance for me to steer things back again. And I won't run my joke clue. My joke clue is going to be the first letter's V, the second letter's B. Starting with V. But no, I've got a good one.
Let's go.
Okay. So I've got a bunch of squares, triangles, and circles that all need to be moved. Bunch of squares, triangles, and circles that all need to be moved.
Yes.
Not bad.
Who am I going to call? S.
Yeah.
From South Australia, just up the road. So I hope that makes sense to the
Walking
rest of
distance
Australia.
from home, hopefully.
Oh
soon.
my God, is
That'll be
it?
exciting.
Very jealous of that.
Yeah, have a...
Why?
I'll blank that shit
And
out.
honestly, blank this as well, because as soon as... Oh my God, he was going to say the fucking clue that I was going to say.
Did you give away the clue then? I didn't even hear that.
God, this is fucking
That's funny.
too close now.
Brilliant. Yeah, that is an easy one though. That's a good one. That's an easy
Yeah,
one.
but I didn't spell it out to you.
D'Anton. What I'm
A,
I
B,
started
and
giving
C
it-
are on. The next one in line isn't.
Have we got any more?
No,
Okay.
One and,
Were we
one
doing
and
like 3 at one
done.
point?
No,
doing
we were
three.
going to run out of breweries very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of...
But we bumped up the prizes now. We're giving the book away. We're giving away some...
And some beer. Yeah, and some beer. I've got some new stickers coming, mate, that are featuring you, by the way.
Jeez, I can stick that over my forehead.
I don't know if you're going to want to, but
Well, it's a picture of me. It probably,
it's a good
Won't
one.
make it any
He's
worse.
going to be upset, but it's worth it.
actually...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know which one? Yeah.
The box head?
Nah.
There's multiple.
I ask for forgiveness early for when I do this.
Early? I assume the sticker's already made.
They're coming.
How is that early? What is it?
I'm not going to tell you now. You wait. I'll give you some
Oh, good.
once they're distributed.
Good. I will sue you. I will literally sue you. And I will run this operation into the ground.
This is what this excellent operation that's being run.
I will rat you out to all the authorities I can possibly think of.
Yeah, he's gonna as well when this comes out too. I'm actually a little bit scared.
And they'll be like, "Oh, you're the guy from the sticker."
Sticker guy, sticker
Have
guy.
fun at school with the kids.
Look, hang on, ready? Hey, Luke, what do you do on the weekends?
That was a bad edit.
All right, team.
Do you have any idea what these stickers are?
Oh, it's not me fucking passed out when I was 16.
No,
No,
worse.
not that one. No.
No, you're gonna be
What's worse than
actually.
that one?
You're gonna be actually annoyed at me when this comes out, like for a little bit.
Are they like? Does everyone else get a sticker? Or is it just of me?
Everyone else is getting something. Like Simmo, I've got that T-shirt of you
Yep.
with your cock out.
Yep.
You're still gonna be more pissed off.
That's
than
worse.
yours is worse than that.
I've only got like tiny bit of shaft. It's not much.
Yeah,
shaft
it's like
anyway.
it's got like a little, like a quarter-inch of shaft in it.
Jeez, that could be me all the way out. Oh no! Yeah, we might as well reveal it, or is it? Come on, put me out of my misery.
Oh wait,
It's not a visual media, so people aren't going to get it anyway.
yeah,
Yeah, but
we'll-
they can hear me struggling right now.
I'll give the stickers out though,
Okay.
and that's when he'll be
Yeah.
upset.
All right, this could be the last time you hear me on this podcast. I want to say it's been a fucking ordeal and painful at every fucking turn.
Can you do a sticker buster for it?
Oh,
Clues.
how do we do
That's a great
How do we
idea,
do a
actually.
sticker buster?
We're probably going to spell it out exactly as it is, so
All right,
can't be too cryptic.
what and registration?
That doesn't even make sense.
No.
If a cop pulls you over, they ask for what and your registration.
License.
A
He's got your license photo. Your whereabouts, maybe?
License.
We'll leave that for this month.
That's a really good way to finish that.
We'll come back and see you all, and we'll give out some stickers next month for 304. What is 304? What are we doing? Lambic or
Fuck, let's do Lambic.
Lambic is next month. See you then.
Not me.